And one. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Wizard World Virtual Experiences as the crowd emojis wildly. Let me see all those emojis out there. I want to see those thumbs up, those hearts, all those wacky things you can do in Twitch. Welcome. I am Mike G, your host for tonight's Scream Queens panel. Super excited to bring some of my favorite actors from some of my favorite horror movies, because 'tis the season. It's October, everybody, and it's my favorite time to turn on all of my favorite horror flicks, and I know we have a lot of horror fans in the audience now. Feel free to tag at Wizard World with any of your questions for either the whole panel or specific ladies, whichever you would like, and we will get to as many fan questions as possible. Again, all you have to do is tag at Wizard World. This panel is free and streaming to you live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Whether you're watching this live on Sunday night, the 11th, or later in the week, know that there are some exclusive paid experiences that you can participate in as well. In addition to this free panel, which will happen in 1 minute's time. 1 minute? 1 minute. We also have live one-on-one chats with each of these amazing actors, autographs, video recorded messages. So if you can, treat yourself, treat a loved one to a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Those one-on-one chats are nothing that can be replicated. You do it from the comfort of your home, and you see these awesome actors in the comfort of their home, and it's a super cool experience. So definitely take advantage of that. You can purchase those at wizardworldvirtual.com. Again, that's wizardworldvirtual.com. Continue to support our artists and vendors at the Wizard World Vault. We haven't had big live conventions in a while, but we want to continue to support all of our amazing artists and vendors out there. And you can do so at the wizardworldvault.com. All kinds of awesome horror memorabilia up there. We know we had Bruce Campbell earlier in the week, and we have him coming back, plus these amazing actors I'm about to bring out tonight. So definitely check out all of those exclusive horror memorabilias at wizardworldvault.com. That's enough for me. We have folks watching from around the world. This is super exciting, and I know the ladies are in the back right now, so they can hear this. We have folks watching from Mexico, Florida, Toronto, Ontario, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Long Beach, Wisconsin, Tulsa, Texas, Ohio, Massachusetts, West Virginia, Brooklyn, South Wales in the UK, Boston's in the house, Tennessee, Portland. Keep shouting out all the countries and states you are watching from. New Orleans in the house. This is so cool to have all of you here watching. Oregon in the house. I said Portland a little while ago. Let's bring out these amazing actors. I had an awesome week preparing for this. I'm a huge horror fan, but I rewatched Halloween 4 and 5. I've binged the Victor Crowley series, Hatchets 2, 3, and 4. I watched Tales from Halloween, Cabin Fever last night, The Hazing, just to get myself pumped and ready for this panel. So let's bring them out here. First up, from See No Evil 2, Urban Legend, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter Said, she has single-handedly taken on both Victor Crowley and Michael Myers in the Victor Crowley Hatchet series, and also Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2. But first off, as a child in Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, please welcome first to the virtual stage, Danielle Harris.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Danielle. Thanks for being here.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
We joked beforehand, you're in a completely different horror location. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think your character could take on Jason just as strongly as she takes on all of those other horror icons?
Ooh, that would be a good fight. A fight I'd like to see, actually.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Excited to get started with this panel in just a bit. But let's bring out your other folks that are waiting there in the background. You know her from Power Rangers, but also David Lynch's Darkened Room, Tales of Halloween, The Walking Dead, Cold Storage, Return to House on Haunted Hill, It Waits, and the shaving leg scene from Cabin Fever is one of the most disturbing horror images of all time. Let's hear it for Cerina Vincent.
Hi. Thanks for having me back.
Cerina, I watched Cabin Fever just last night. I remember watching it in the theaters a long time ago, and just last night, and the whole thing of like a disease being spread like through super eerie, given everything that's going on.
We're living through that right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it had. There were definitely some. Yeah, it was definitely had a double sort of thing going on, so it was really interesting. Plus, I've got Cabin Fever sitting in this corner of my room here, but I'm so excited to have you all here. So let's bring out this horror icon from Romeo and Juliet. She's been eaten by a shark. She's been destroyed by the abominable snowman. Sharknado 2, Tales of Halloween, Abominable, The Hazing, also from Victor Crowley. That's one of my favorite connections, is the Victor Crowley connection here. Let's hear it for Tiffany Shepis.
What's up, Wizard World?
Welcome, Tiffany. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah. Hazing was a big one that I'd never seen of yours until this week, and my gosh, like I don't know how I missed it. I know,
Everyone missed it, and it needs a Blu-ray release. I mean, Brad Dourif's in it.
Yeah, and you can get it now. I think I watched it on Prime, and yeah, it was so good, and it feels like that cult movie that just doesn't have the cult side of it yet, but it's just enough. Yeah,
but now because of people watching this everywhere, it will get that.
If you heard it from here, you heard it here first, everybody. The Hazing, it's awesome flick. If you're a horror fan. And last but not least, you know her from Lilith, also made an appearance in Victor Crowley, Death House, Silent Night, Zombie Night, Return to Sleepaway Camp, and one of the most iconic horror images of all time is her face screaming. If you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp, I can't spoil it for you, but oh man, one of the most disturbing moments in horror movie history. And she brought it to life as a young actor. Please welcome to the stage, Felissa Rose, everyone.
Hey guys, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here, especially amongst these amazing women. Thank you.
Yeah, this, and I feel like the horror genre has always represented, you know, there's obviously like the silly characters and like the ones that die off really quickly, but there's always been strong, but there has always been throughout, I feel like, that strong woman character, and all of you portray them in various forms in different series. So it's so cool to have you out here, the true Scream Queens. And I know there's probably some friendly competition between the four of you of who's ranked higher, you know, at any given. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think so. I've never felt that. I feel like the grandmother, so I'm thrilled to have my babies here.
I think because we all genuinely like each other, like I'm sure there's people that I'm like, ew, why did they get parts? But that's just because they're a bad like not because of acting competitiveness.
Those people are not on this panel with us for a reason.
Yeah.
Because we all know those people. But this group is not competitive at all, which is like a really beautiful part of life, this business, this genre. It's such
an awesome genre, not only because of you all as a family. Like, again, I watched Victor Crowley this week, and I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like, we get Tiffany popping in, Felissa popping in, Danielle, you have the cameo at the end. Cerina, you're next up. You got to get in Hatchet 5. I feel like, yeah. It's just like,
make that happen.
Yeah, there we go. Tales of Halloween, obviously Cerina, you were in it, and Tiffany was in it. I think that's my favorite part of the horror genre is the family element of it, you know? Yeah, what were you going to say, Tiffany?
Felissa's in that too.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. You're in the trick-or-treat. You're one of the parents. Yeah, you're one of the parents in the trick-or-treat. Yeah. So it's just so cool.
What the hell? Where were you that week?
You should have been.
I don't think I got a call.
You should have.
You need to check your voicemail.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I mean, it's possible. I probably have like 60 messages.
Yes.
Like we tried her 400 times, but
you did? Did you really call? Did you really?
Everyone called you.
Shut! Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. Is this your number that you tweeted out, Danielle, that then you got rid of?
Ooh.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh.
Because I have that number in my phone too.
But I'm really secretly grateful because it's like, oh, all of a sudden there's a part for me in Tales of Halloween. So, good job.
I didn't know anything about it.
Is that meant to come back as like a continued anthology? I know it was probably a few years back now at this point, the first one.
I actually just heard recently that I don't know if I'm supposed to announce this, but whatever, it's only live. That there is going to be another one.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome.
And from my understanding is that they would try to interweave some of the stories and bring back some of the people. So Felissa, that little cat, can come back.
Not for anything, but she was always around. Thanks to Tiffany.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Let's get to the.
Got eaten by a pumpkin in that one, and so I'm all alone. So maybe my character hooks up with Danielle somehow, and I mean, not hooks up, but maybe.
Oh, I was like, okay.
Yes. Yeah, they just got all their funding.
We were excited for a second, Cerina.
Well, yeah, me too.
Well, you heard it here first. Tales of Halloween 2. Danielle and Cerina are gonna hook up. So let's make it.
And scene.
Let's make it happen. The fans of horror are the most passionate, the most loyal, the most dedicated, and they come out movie after movie. You know what I mean? No matter what it's about, no matter what the budget is, you know what I mean? No matter where it's being shown, whether it's in the theaters or directed video. Sometimes I know as a horror nerd, some of my favorite are the ones that just come like straight to video, that only horror nerds can, or like Shudder, or you know what I mean? Talk about the fans, because there's tons of people watching from all over the world right now, and I want to get to some of their questions. Jay North just wants to know, what, and Jacob, Bloody Jacob Babcock, and I want to let you know his.
Oh well, Bloody Jacob Babcock.
Yeah, Bloody Jacob Babcock, and he's got a leprechaun icon as his profile pic, so he's a fan. What is it, do you think, about the horror genre? And I'm sure you've gotten this question before, but we'd love to hear it live for everyone watching. That makes it so everlasting, so evolving. That we can watch the same movie decades after decades after decades, or the same kind of like plot decades after decades, but always it feels fresh and like new and invigorating. And it's just like a blast to watch. What do you think? What do you think it is about horror as a genre that is so popular?
It's fun.
It's sentimental. I think we all grew up
Yeah.
watching these films, and we relate, with our hearts, and we connect with one another. It's our childhood. So it's definitely, an amazing genre to live in and to keep reviewing over and over, because we just feel so good about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
that community for sure. And we all keep working together. So it's like this tight-knit little family. And I think the fans become part of that tight-knit little family too, which is really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Go.
Well, I was just gonna say I couldn't have said it better. Going off of what Felissa was saying, like these were all of my favorite movies to watch as a kid, and like I didn't know that we didn't know that this was going to be our life. Well, maybe some of you children did, because you started it as a kid. But then like being a part of the community, it sounds so cliche, but it does feel like all of us horror actors and the horror fans are like all like misfits that like find each other in like this special little way.
Well, and I was going to say something similar to what you and Danielle are saying about like when you're at a convention, what I'm finding now more than the fans that just love the movies, they love to see how we all interact with each other. And it's like, oh shit, like Tiffany and Danielle and Cerina and Felissa are actually friends. And those two are friends. And Mosley really hangs out with so-and-so. It's like they've become part of, it's the only genre where the fans can really truly become part of the world. Yeah. Right? I mean, it's like there's not that many romantic comedy conventions.
No, that's a great point. And you said hanging out at conventions and things like that really brings the fans and you all together in like a unique place. And I mean, it was, besides Star Trek, maybe, in the Trekkie conventions, like horror, that was like a very niche thing. Horror, like the horror conventions were what's kind of started it all, and now there's a lot of pop culture conventions out there. But those like niche horror conventions are so popular and the fans are just love being there, and they love seeing you, like you said. This is a question from Jay North, fan of all four of you, was wondering, speaking of fans, do you have a funny fan interaction, or has there been a particular situation at any of these horror conventions that has stuck out to you? Danielle is making a face of course there has been some weird things.
I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
For me, there's one story that always sticks in my head, and there was a woman that came out to me at a convention in New Jersey, Monster Mania actually, and she was crying, and she had this little girl with her, and who maybe was like 2, and she came over and kneeled down next to my table, and she said, "Danielle, it's Jamie, it's Jamie." Her daughter's name is Jamie, and I was
gosh.
like, oh, she's like, it's you, it's Jamie. And I just thought, God, that she's like, I named her after you as a child. And she was crying, and I just thought, God, it's almost like I was her father, or, like long lost relative. It was so odd. And then of course I got uncomfortable and weirded out and had to make some weird comment about, you do realize that character killed her mom at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
spoiler.
So maybe you shouldn't have named your daughter after a character that killed her mom. I'm just saying. So that was probably one of my
so funny
kooky experiences.
An true Hollywood story very soon.
Oh God.
So my I mean, there's so, like Danielle said, like every single horror convention or convention with horror friends, wherever,
Sure.
Wizard World horror fans, there is something crazy and odd and ridiculous that happened. But if I have to pick one, it would be that I met my baby daddy at a horror convention.
Hey.
Oh, see, those hookups do happen, guys.
In the morning in Gettysburg when he was there with Bruce Campbell. I mean, who would have thought?
Amazing.
So fans listening, you can find love at a horror convention.
I have to kind of tag that because I met my husband because he was the biggest Sleepaway Camp fan.
Yeah.
And we're married almost 20 years later because of Sleepaway Camp.
No,
well, and if you know how you're portrayed in Sleepaway Camp, Felissa, that's an odd place and movie to sort of become attracted to you.
Hence the craziness of this man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very left out of this because my husband was not a fan of mine at all.
Actually, a story. You have a good story, though. It's good.
It's a bad story. And every time I say it, I'm like, ew, why am I married to him? But no, I have an interesting fan story that's not like y'all's. I was at a convention, and I forget where, and the guy comes over and he's buying a couple things, and he's like, all right, but where's the stuff from True Blood? And I was like, True Blood? I was like, well, I'm not in True Blood. Come on, stop lying. You're in True Blood. This is stupid. Where's the True Blood stuff? And I'm like, dude, I'm not in it. I was like, I wish I was on True Blood. And this dude, he would not. It was for like an hour. He kept coming back to the table and was just showing me pictures of the woman who looked similar to me. But by the end, I had to just cop to it that I am the True Blood lady that he was looking for. So it was funny. So he was a fan of my movies and like had like stuff to bring signed, but really was convinced I was also this other woman. That was fun.
Oh my gosh. Is there, all of you have been a ton of horror movies. And so this might be hard to pick, but Jamie Friend 12 is just wondering what some of your best memories are. I mean, Felissa and Danielle, oh my gosh, you started so young, you know what I mean? Portraying children in these horror films. We'll start with you both. Were that your vivid memories, or has it been like later on now, like kind of sinking into the genre, that you have some of your best memories? Just shooting.
I mean, I think obviously like the older movies always have a special place in my heart because it's the first time you're really experiencing that and you don't really know the tricks of the trade yet. I mean, I was so young, so it was just like really, really fun. As you get older, we're tackling a little bit more intense characters stuff, I think. I'm sure we've all been like beaten and raped and tortured and killed numerous different ways. So, which those are great memories too. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think I've definitely got some sweet spot in my heart for the older movies.
That's awesome. Tiffany's been killed a lot. I think we can say on this panel that Tiffany's been killed the most.
And she is the best death in Victor Crowley.
Yeah.
I will say that. She is the best death.
I don't know. Your death in Victor Crowley takes the cake. But yes, I kind of feel like I'm like the penny stock of horror actresses. Like I've just been killed so many times and have made so many of them that it's sort of equaled out to like one decent one. But yeah, I think someone asked me the other day, like, have you been killed every which way? And I was like, I don't know. Not the way Felissa's been killed.
Yeah, that death in Victor Crowley is pretty memorable, pretty epic. Yeah.
Intense.
Felissa, how about you? Early memories of Sleepaway Camp, and then coming back to it. I know it kind of went off and did its own sort of thing for 2 and 3, and then with Return to Sleepaway Camp, you get to come back. And then just now, obviously being featured in so many different horror films. I don't know what sticks out to you as your favorite.
It was Sleepaway Camp to me, it's almost like I equated to having children. So Sleepaway Camp is my first. It was the beginning. It was the love of my life. It's so sentimental and beautiful in my heart. And long lasting. But, now today making films with all of these beautiful women, it's like exciting. And I remember it, being 13 and making a horror movie was just like, it's hard to remember. It was like going to camp. So you hardly remember like those memories, they're great, but then you move on and you're like, wow, today it's like great. It's amazing. I could drink on set and have fun. It's actually awesome now. So they're all fantastic, and I'm just grateful to be in the genre.
Very cool. Very cool. Cerina, you've been in so many different nerd genres. Obviously, we had you on earlier for Power Rangers, which has such a huge following. And then, of course, the Hallmark movies, Not Another Teen Movie, one of my favorite movies. So we've got teen flicks, like Hallmark movies, all the Power Rangers, and then horror is another one to add to your little list there.
And Disney Mom, by the way.
That's true. Recent Disney mom. Congrats on that. Yeah. What is it about, I guess, the horror, what about the memories of shooting horror films that particularly sticks out to you compared to those other genres?
I mean, I think Tiffany said it best in the beginning. They're just fun. There's a certain energy on the set of a horror movie that is not the same. I mean, obviously, like when you're on a comedy, it's fun. You're cracking jokes all day, but it's almost like you can't really explain it. It's an energetic difference of everyone being involved. It's obviously like things are usually over the top and lots of blood and it's a different kind of acting, right? So it's like we know that there's not like really monsters or ghosts or whatever the thing that we're scared of. So you just like you're tapped into like this different make-believe place.
Yeah.
That you aren't in other genres.
That's so awesome. And even within the genre itself, there's so many different styles. There's the paranormal ones, there's the slasher films, there's like I hate to call them parody films because it's not scary movie parody, but it's like the Victor Crowley, right? Is a great example, and Hatchet, like they're having fun within the genre, particularly like going over the top on purpose, and the gore is over the top, and it's so good as a fan. And this kind of leads in, you mentioned the bloody, oh yeah, Tiffany, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, but like it still all ties into what Cerina was just saying about the excitement that's on a horror film set, predominantly because you're always waiting for that big gag, right? Like everybody's set up, you're waiting for that kill scene. Is it going to go wrong? Are the squibs going to work? Is the blood going to go everywhere? Is it going to screw up the camera? Like there's always that. Doesn't matter the budget. It's always that same thing, which adds, I think, a bit of unexpectedness to it, where on any other type of film you sort of know how the day's going to go. Like your biggest obstacle is somebody not remembering a line. So I think the stakes are a little higher and the obstacles are bigger, so it makes everyone more of a team when it does work.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's great to hear. And it actually leads into another fan question. Ange C is curious, for all four of you, what's the hardest or grossest scene you've ever had to do, or maybe particular someone that just really which wasn't working? Or just grossest.
I'll take that one.
Yeah. I could see it in your eyes immediately, Danielle.
I was shooting a movie in Florida called Inoperable, and we had a scene where we had to climb through like the meat locker, essentially, where there were like body, like real human. It was supposed to be human organs that were like in this locker, cold, freezer, whatever. And they could not afford in the budget to get effects ones, rubber or latex or whatever it was. So they went to a butcher, and they got real animal intestines and cow blood, and it was like a day or two old, and I've never in my life been so, I'm sure that was like probably not allowed, but I've never in my life been more, I can still smell it. Like it was so vile and disgusting. I can't even believe that they got away with that. It was
have
oh my God.
a similar thing to that. It wasn't even on a horror film. It was a movie that we shot in Manhattan about the New York City club scene, and it was produced by Pedro Almodovar, huge producer. And I had to run through I was supposed to be high on drugs, and I'm like 16, and I'm running through the meatpacking district barefoot. And if you've ever been to Manhattan's meatpacking district, especially back 15 years ago, there were guts and entrails and slime. And I remember just thinking, because like it was a big movie for me, and I'm like, just keep running, don't look down, don't look down. Yeah, that was that's disgusting.
gross.
You'd have thought I would have turned vegetarian then.
Me too.
Goodness. Felissa, Cerina, any grossest moments for you all?
Felissa, you go first.
I did a movie, actually Danielle and I did a movie called Camp Dread. And
yeah.
I was killed with like this liquid something. And they basically waterboarded me because they had me like back with the liquid, and it was so horrific. I mean, I would do as many takes as possible on any movie, but even the first AD and the director were like, I think we're done. It was so gross and so horrific that it just kind of like left all of us. We're good. We got this. So yeah, you never know. I mean, it's always fun, but you want, sometimes the actors like has to deal with some elements that are really over the top.
Well, like as soon as you're done with those scenes, everyone's clapping and excited because it's so funny and looks so awesome. And you're the one that has to go figure out how you're going to clean it off of you.
Yeah.
With like a hose and a bucket in the back of some creepy house somewhere, freezing your butt off. It's awful.
Naked, like in a shower.
I know, and I'm always like, is somebody watching me in here? Then I start to talk to myself like, I know you're watching me. Just so it's like less weird.
Yeah.
Which is even more weird.
Or they give you, or makeup gives you, there's no shower, right? That happens often. There's no shower. So they give you like a thing of baby wipes and shaving cream because horror fans, shaving cream takes off fake blood, and you just like strip down and you're just wiping shaving cream all over your body with baby wipes, and it's crazy.
And the effects people are like, don't worry, I do this all the time.
Yeah.
Nothing weird about this at all.
I like something about the visual, Tiffany, of your hand just swiping your camera. It's just
I do this always.
Oh.
No.
I was just gonna say, there's obviously like Cabin Fever, the leg shaving scene that was complicated to shoot, like in a bathtub. It wasn't a real bathtub, so that was a complicated shoot. But as far as like, there's also dangerous things that we do.
Sure.
That I did this movie once. It was me and Eddie Furlong in the middle of Barstow, California, and it was a total nightmare of a shoot. And the director like wanted me to crawl underneath, like there was a trailer, but it was like a house. Somebody was living in this trailer, and he was standing there looking, like trying to set up the shot, and he wanted me to crawl under the trailer and out the other side. And I mean, when you look under there, I mean, this is full of like, we had already seen tarantulas. I mean, the snakes, rattle. I mean, you don't crawl underneath a real trailer that's not a set, like however many how long that is. Like, I don't know what's under there.
Yeah.
And
you should have sent.
I was like, are you going to
Furlong
put a
as,
camera
like-
under there with me? If you're not putting a camera under there with me. He's like, well, no. I was like, well, then we'll just fake it. Come on, buddy. Like things like that. But sometimes, like there are many times where like you don't have the guts to be like, no, I'm not doing that. That's crazy, and then you end up in like dangerous situations.
Yeah.
Everyone on the panel here has a big enough mouth now to say like no, right? Exactly. Finally, after a long time, you're like, yeah, I'm not sorry. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
But there are things though, like where you don't realize where you're at is weird. Like we did a movie 100 years ago called Corpses. And I remember when we got to, it was a funeral home, and we're doing like a scene where I'm like fighting these zombies, like getting through like coffins and stuff like that. And there were X's on some, and I was like, are those breakaway coffins? Because we had some that like zombies are bursting out of. And they're like, no, those are the ones that have people in them. And I was like, wait, like are dummies, like actors? They're like, no, they're real people. Apparently this funeral home was full.
Oh,
and long story short of this place actually got shut down a week later because I guess there were bodies like piled up. There's like a whole thing. You can look it up in Linwood, California, where they had bodies like in closets. And, but yes, we were a film that they just rented it out to. And we were like, oh, heck yeah, cheap. And there were dead people there.
Wow. That's insane. Well, and it's funny, we joked about it before, and actually it ties into a fan question. Part of the charm of some horror films is the low budgetness of them. You know what I mean? And that's why we tune in, and why it's fun to just see like all the different variations. And who was it? Dylan Hillerman wanted to know, and maybe this is an obvious question, but I don't know, because I think there's some fun to the low budget films. But he wants to know, do you prefer acting in like the larger budget horror films or like the real indie style low budget ones?
I want the big ones.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm like, that's not fun. They're not fun. They're fun for you guys to watch. They're really horrible to make most of the time. I mean, thank God we get to work with our friends, which is the only saving grace, and we all manage to convince one another to do these low budget movies because it's going to be fun. And sometimes it is, and other times you're like, oh my God, just shoot me. Like, what did I get myself into? And other times they're really low budget and they actually are really fun. It's nice to keep it kitschy and cute and cool, and I like that. But yeah, I'm good with the bigger budget movies.
I think it's just like, think of it this way, like, would you prefer to sit on the side of the road in some dirt, or would you rather sit in a house? It's like, that's kind of the difference. Like, is there a trailer or even like a house that you can sit in, or are you just on a dirty side of the road? And there are great movies that come out of that. I mean, I've made some that I love that are zero budget, but even the filmmakers themselves would go, holy shit, holy
That's all right.
cow, if we had money, we could just, we would have the world.
I like that you censored yourself there. You already cursed like 5 or 6 times.
I was like, now you're stopping?
Yeah.
Because that one is just not a good word. The other words are good.
No, I was kidding. Felissa, I mean, Sleepaway Camp is notoriously known for its very short production, and on a very low budget. What was that experience like? And then seeing sort of the success that it had, as it kind of gained traction and that cult following.
I mean, it was an absolutely amazing shoot.
Yeah,
It was going to camp. We were real teenagers.
Yeah.
13 to like 17. We had the best time. We were a close-knit family, cast and crew.
Cool.
And just seeing how it still resonates with audiences is amazing to me. I'm actually shocked every time someone comes up to me and says they've even seen the film. So it's just an incredible experience. And I feel like my entire life is because of Sleepaway Camp. Friends, family, work. It's all
Your
husband. Yeah.
My husband was the biggest fan ever, and I adore Sleepaway Camp. It's like, again, my firstborn, and I'm thrilled to having been a part of it is incredible.
That's awesome. You talked about we sort of alluded to directors-ish, in the sense of like asking you to do certain things. A lot of amazing folks you've all worked with. The fans, I just want to make sure to shout out to them because they're all talking about them all right now. We're talking about Eli Roth, Cerina for you, obviously Adam Green, you know what I mean, for Hatchet. Is there a particular director that stands out to you as being one of your favorites? I know we're live and I know they might be listening, but anybody out there that again stands out to you as particularly fun to work with?
Adam Green was a super good time to work with because we all just know him so well.
Yeah.
Like it is just like, oh, we're working with friends, which makes it easy to tell somebody, yeah, I don't know about that, or oh wow, this is really gonna suck. Like, there's less of a oh gosh, I'm gonna lose this job sort of vibe for me. But I also loved working with the Butcher Brothers. I think they're pretty rad, both of them together and separate. And we have another movie that just came out, and so they're a lot of fun. They're just fans of the genre. So
Oh my God,
making
you have to come in here.
Oh, is it
my
Kane?
God.
Oh, look who it is. Jason Victor Crowley himself, everybody. Kane Hodder.
All of your women.
Bombing the panel.
Tell Kane that we didn't tell them this is a Casualty Friday live.
Kane, this is a Scream Queen. This is Scream Queens panel, Kane. It's not a Killers. It's not a Killers panel.
He's the number one Scream Queen.
Oh, he is the number one Scream Queen.
We'll send you the link, and you can have your own box if you want.
Just in case.
Hop on.
So,
I'm so happy he's
Kane,
here.
Kane, I want to say,
I love that he can't hear us.
yeah. Oh, that's why, because of the thing. That's so funny. That's so
You
funny.
hear that?
Kane, can you hear us?
yes.
Yeah, we just gave you a big intro. The fans are loving that you're seeing this. We have this Scream Queens panel, and we've got everyone right now is shouting out "Best Jason ever," and obviously Victor Crowley as well. So awesome to have you here and bust in and bomb this Scream Queens panel. So good to see you.
I miss you, Kane.
Well, I don't want to interrupt too much. I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah.
Who did you like killing the most out of the three of us?
Ooh.
That you almost killed. Well, Cerina, he hasn't killed you yet, right?
Not yet, except I drank too much tequila with him once, and it almost killed me. So I think that counts.
It's a real life.
Shocking.
That's true.
I'm wasted because of that tequila.
I ended up in a fan's room playing beer pong, and I don't remember it.
Oh my God, that's so Kane.
That's Kane's fault.
Oh,
I know.
Kane,
These are
what?
all your women right
Wow.
here.
Yeah, Kane, what's the answer though? Who's your favorite? Yeah, who's your favorite murder victim on the panel right now? We've got Danielle, Felissa, Tiffany.
I mean, you know,
You
it's
did
obviously
shove it up my vagina.
everyone would love killing Shepis the most. But Danielle is my favorite.
Uh-oh.
Shove it up my vagina.
Sorry,
I'm not
Felissa,
doing
you're
that.
just like the
Sid.
stepchild.
That is the classic kill. Take someone's arm
Yep.
and
Just-
shove it so far up their vagina that it comes out. Yeah, classic.
This is a family show, Kane.
It's not.
He said Virginia.
Virginia.
Wait a second. I thought he didn't want to interrupt. Why are you still here?
Okay. Point taken. Bye. Have
Bye,
fun.
Kane. Thanks for popping in.
Thank
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
That was fun.
I interviewed Kane a few years ago at a live convention, and we did the photo, and he does the classic thing where he like chokes your neck, but he always like you feel that grip, and you're like, oh, this is the hands of someone that could maybe actually also murder someone. You know what I mean? He's got that strength, and I was like, I felt it through his hand. It was so cool. Kane Hodder, everybody, huh? Sorry, ladies.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Even
That
when
was
he
really
walks,
cool.
though, he
Yeah.
walks like
Aw,
a big
you
dude.
see how
Like,
cute he looks. Like I'm watching him down the hallway. He's just his
like-
presence is so mesmerizing and beautiful. It's crazy. I'm still fanning over him. Like
Oh, so
even
good.
no, even being a good friend of his, you see him and you're like, oh, wow, like he's Kane Hodder. He's amazing.
Yeah, so good, so good. I love when he plays the father in Hatchet 2, because you get to see him like for the first time, just like as himself. You know what I mean? As I forget what the father's name is, but like obviously Victor Crowley's father. Oh man, now I'm all
Mr.
starstruck.
Crowley.
Yeah, where Mr. Crowley. Where do we? Well, let's talk about this. So we have Kane Hodder there, obviously one of our favorite Jasons, Victor Crowley, and a lot of fans. Jeffrey Chim is asking. Who else? A bunch of fans are asking, what scares you? Is there anything out there that personally scares you that you are legitimately afraid of? What is your biggest fear in the horror?
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
Number one. No.
that's a good one.
It's
Yeah.
really hard
Yeah.
to actually answer this question. It's hard to like admit what you're afraid of, but
Yeah.
I definitely get nervous being home alone, and I've had weird things happen in my life. I've had like peeping toms, like real peeping toms, and like
Wow.
real, not because of like being an actor or anything, but just living in the wrong apartment complex, I guess. So I've had like crazy things happen in my life that not all of the fears are stemming from fear. So that kind of stuff.
Because you're hot, Cerina. I would peep too.
I would peep on you.
I know.
We're
I
all
know.
like hoping you leave the Zoom on, like so we could just.
Yeah. Well, this is the plot of Hatchet 5. We already
Really
decided. Yeah. Danielle
Yeah,
and Cerina. Yeah.
Mary Beth is a lesbian. So I'm just saying, if Adam Green's watching,
my-
we're gonna do another one.
Adam Green, let's do
Yeah.
it.
And there needs to
wrote-
be like the film crew, like that comes and films it, because clearly I didn't die in the last one. So.
We've written Hatchet 5. Let's
Yeah, but
be honest.
That is it.
we have written this movie.
We-
I'm really afraid of heights. Don't like them at
Oh.
all. But I also won't go into like my garage alone at night unless like my kids are here and they're like, we can't go to the garage. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Don't be a baby. You have to go to the garage. Like if someone else is watching, I can fake bravado. But if I'm alone, nope, not happening.
All right. So we got heights, peeping
For
toms.
me, it's drowning.
Oh.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
I'm always like when I did Scary Sleepover with Adam Green, you really had to kind of think about something in your life that just completely makes you feel, unhinged and like life has taken you over. And I feel like in the water, when you can't breathe, those moments just seem really incredibly dreadful.
Yeah.
And that's just awful. So.
Wow. And that's Tiffany's
Now
death. That's
that I've
Tiffany's
brought
death.
the
that Victor
entire
Crowley-
thing down.
No, those are all good fears.
And look, and Tiffany went through it. In
Yeah,
Victor
yeah.
Crowley,
Yeah.
I No, that was some BS, man. Like, cause I was only in like 6 inches of water. And so these are legitimately the worst friends in the world that they couldn't find a way to like take a few Dixie cups and some water away from me so I could live.
We were the worst friends ever. Let's be honest.
Terrible. There's even those like, is a spoiler for the movie, but it was in Victor Crowley, and I'm, buried underwater under some plane seats. And there's even like the oxygen masks with tubes.
That's
you
what I was saying.
Any tube.
We were dumb.
They're just
We were
dumb.
Yeah.
That was what I was shouting. That any good horror movie has a shouting at the screen, like, why would you go in there? Why would you pick up this? That was what I was shouting. I was like, use the tube from the thing. You know what I mean? My gosh. And Tiffany, you could come back. Perry Shen comes back in every one as a different person, technically, or not always different completely, but yeah.
I keep telling Adam Green that you actually, if you go back and watch it, they cut away to Dave Sheridan, and you never actually see me take my last breath. And people have been known to be dead for like 30 minutes and then be revived. So
You're coming back. That's what that
back.
Yeah.
Coming back to video that lesbian love scene between
There's a trio now.
There's room for one more. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what Adam Green writes from now on, it's never going to be as good as this. So this is what it has to be.
Truth. Danielle, a fear? You're an actual fear of yours? I know.
I have really dumb fears. I'm afraid of elevators. So anyone that knows, like, if I'm at, if I go to a convention where I know that they're going to be really crowded elevators, I always ask to stay on the first floor because I'm always afraid that I'm going to get stuck. But mind you, like Cerina was saying, I have myself been stuck 3 times in an elevator, so it's very scary. So, when the elevator closes and you get to your floor and it takes a minute before it opens, I always break into a sweat. It's just inevitable. So I'm afraid of that. I'm also have this weird irrational fear of fish. So I don't actually even eat seafood. But I love the ocean, but if I'm above it, like I have to be like on a paddleboard, like looking way down in crystal clear water. Otherwise I'm not going in the water. And
that's a real fear.
Yeah. So like open water is your biggest nightmare. Like you're stuck. Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't even have to be a big fish. It could be like this big, and if it comes near me and I'm ankle deep, I'm screaming and running out. So it's so ridiculous.
And water.
Maybe E.T. and any kind of like puppet thing. Like I haven't done one of those movies yet.
Yeah.
Good, but like anytime there's like a person in a suit or something that shouldn't be alive. Like I always say, like if Kermit the Frog walked into my room right now, I would jump out the window. I mean, that would be really scary for me. So like it's not supposed to really be happening.
I'm going to bump on that because puppets, yes, super terrifying. More terrifying than puppets, puppet people. Like the people that love their puppets.
Oh my God, yes.
And like, cherish them and they have rooms for them. Like,
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
Puppet people.
I've met
not puppeteers. Not puppeteers. You mean like people that just really like puppets. Yeah.
Puppeteers too.
Oh, okay. Anyone involved with puppets.
I have to add something.
Yeah.
I have to add something because of what Danielle just said. Like, I've always had a fear of rats. But, like, I mean, you see them in New York. Like, that sucks, But, like, I always feel like I am up against a rat. Like, not always, but a lot. Like, one time I accidentally, like, I was walking in Japan, in Tokyo, and I accidentally, like, kicked one. And I was in a strappy sandal. And so I felt like the warmth of the body, like, of the rat body around my foot. And then, but more recently, the beginning of quarantine, when everything first shut down, we had a rat infestation. And that's all I'm going to say because I could do a whole panel on it.
Yeah, that is not good. There's a lot of just puppet talk in the chat.
I saw a rat in my area. I was like, Cerina, I get that. That's scary and gross. Yeah.
I just lost all my puppet movie offers.
Yeah, there's a lot of people are fighting. People are like, you're right, Sherry Lewis was scary. We're getting out there. Fraggle Rock, frightening. John Wood says they're called puppet maters. Yeah, I don't know. This has been so much fun. We're almost out of time. I want to shout out to some of the fans that asked like very similar questions to the ones we got to. Nicholas Moreau, Jamie Friend 12, Kania Padilla. Oh, we missed Eli Roth, Cerina. Talk really quickly because Joshua Palace wanted to know specifically what it was like working with Eli Roth back in his early directing days.
So is that his name Josh? Josh. So
Josh, yeah.
Eli, when we did Cabin Fever, it was Eli's first movie, and he had spent many years trying to get it off the ground. So this was an indie movie, and Eli Roth wasn't Eli Roth. He was just a first-time director. I mean, he was to himself and he was to us, but like the world didn't know him yet, But the interesting thing about him is he has more confidence than probably any director that I've ever worked with. And he knew then on his first movie that Cabin Fever was going to be a huge success and that he was going to be a huge success. Like he's an incredible filmmaker, and he's like a crazy genius, eccentric, and he is, has a wildly successful career. But it was his first movie, and so we were all just like making it like passionate about this little indie movie that we hoped that the world would like, and they did. So
was that
and
your
you
first
stole
heart?
our hearts. You stole our hearts. You are so magnificent.
You know what? Speaking of hearts, Felissa, I love your heart. I see your heart, and I love it.
Thank you.
It's a good contrast to mine and Danielle's black hearts.
No, you don't have black hearts.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Y'all have similar hearts.
Yeah.
We all love each other. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, in the beginning, we're
This is
talking
like-
about, like, if there's a competition, like we call each other all the time and get each other to do jobs, and like we're always looking out for one another.
For each other.
Danielle taught me this. This might be way too much information here for people, but Danielle, you taught me how to co-sleep breastfeed.
Oh, yeah.
We love that.
That has saved my fucking life as a new mother.
And Danielle, we all have the same OBGYN.
You know that, Cerina?
Me, Tiff, and
Tiffany
Danielle.
and Felissa and I are the same doctor as all of our babies.
That delivered all the babies. Isn't that weird?
That's
I could
crazy
not get
awesome.
pregnant, and I was with Felissa at dinner, and she was like, "I have a doctor for you. You have to go to him. He will help you." And I went to him, and he sent me somewhere, and that is the reason why I have my babies.
Wow.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's beautiful. You're
Because Tiffany sent me to him and I have my baby.
I was like, I have this great doctor. I don't think he's very good, but you should go to him. The rest is history.
Love. This is love. This is a major love.
from Tales of Halloween and Victor Crowley to OBGYNs. You know what I mean? The connections are just there. Last but not least, Sawyer Black and John want to know, what is your favorite horror movie, or what is a horror movie that has truly scared you?
It's always
Okay.
Poltergeist for me. That's
Poltergeist.
for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Still.
Exorcist.
Two good ones.
But super fun, Return of the Living Dead 3.
Gremlins. I'm a big Gremlins nerd.
Last House on the Left.
Oh, yeah.
So I wrote about this once. I have so many. There's The Shining. There's so many. Like Jaws was my favorite, if that's considered a horror movie.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Anyone seen Soylent Green?
Yes, classic. It's a classic.
That scared the shit out of me. My dad made me watch it when I was like 10, and so that's my number one.
That's another movie. Again, I won't spoil it because it's so classic. People haven't seen it, Cerina. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's another movie that like is very weirdly like something that could be potentially happening right now, or you know what I mean? Like this sort of undercover government thing going on with the people that. Anyway, I don't want. It gives you chills sort of thinking. Well, this has been so amazing. It was such a lovely treat to hang out with all of you. We have fans again watching from not only around the country but around the world, tuning in from the UK and Australia and Mexico and Israel. In the house. Shout out your states again and your countries. Just one final word from all of you. Just say goodbye to the fans on this Sunday evening. We'll go backwards the order I brought you in. Felissa, you want to start?
I just want to say thank you so much for being here. We love you so much, and we're incredibly grateful that you're a part of this genre. We're all together. We're a family. Thank you. Mwah.
Awesome. Thanks. Tiffany?
Wizard World, thank you so much, Cerina, for hooking this all up. You guys, this was awesome. And I don't know, stay safe, guys. We'll see you.
Awesome. Thanks. Cerina?
Wizard World fans, thank you for being here. Ladies, thank you for doing this. I love you all. Like, it makes me want to cry. I always want to cry at the end of these. And stay safe out there. Have a happy Halloween and vote.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Cerina. Danielle?
Yes, Wizard World. It's been over a decade since I was actually at one of the Wizard Worlds.
Yeah, we've been around for a while.
I miss all of you in person, and I hope that this suffices the little bit we can give you this Halloween season. And just know that we're thinking of you, and we're trying to connect the best way that we can, and sending you lots of love. Be safe, and be happy, and be healthy. And we'll see you again soon, I promise.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Wizard World.
Yeah, this totally suffices, Danielle. I can speak on behalf of all the fans with their heart emojis and the we love yous, and we love your work and we love your movies. That this is, even though it feels distant, we're close and connected right now because of this medium. And so we appreciate you all for taking some time out of your Sunday evening to hang with us. So
thank you for doing it and being like a great moderator.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I mean, I'm a nerd, just like along with everyone else. So, it was a treat. It was a treat for sure, and an honor to meet you all. So thanks for being here. Don't forget, Wizard World fans that are watching, again, on all the platforms, whether you're watching tonight, Sunday the 11th, or throughout the week, you can purchase one-on-one video chats with all these amazing actors. So definitely take advantage of that. Autographs, video recorded messages. Treat yourself to a once-in-a-lifetime experience at wizardworldvirtual.com. On behalf of Wizard World, I've been your host, Mike G. Let's hear it one more time. A big round of emojis for Danielle Harris, Cerina Vincent, Tiffany Shepis, and Felissa Rose.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time, everybody.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.